All right, joining me now to discuss this is Mr. Mo Kelly from KFI Radio. Mo, thank you for being here with me as always. I appreciate it. Brittney Griner is coming home. A lot of people expected that, but maybe sooner than a lot of folks expected. Just your initial thoughts on the timing of her release.
The timing is what I expected. I thought it was going to take a few months. Is it nicer that it's right before Christmas? Of course it is. Is it politically beneficial to Joe Biden? Of course it is. But it came at a tremendous cost as far as Victor Bout, the convicted Russian terrorist and arms dealer. Countless lives have been lost because of him. So it was a very expensive prisoner swap. And there's also the issue of the former Marine Paul Whelan, who remains in Russia. So the Biden administration is going to have to explain very clearly why Whelan did not come home, but Brittney Griner did.
Well, I'm going to make you play the Biden administration role here for a second here. Mo, what do you think happened? This is very divisive. I woke up this morning, I'm getting all the alerts from news, different outlets, and then all of a sudden I go on Twitter, and it's so divisive. Folks are, yay, other folks are, what about Paul Whelan? What has she done? She's just a basketball player. He's served in our military. So I was surprised. I thought it could be exclusive, that we could be happy she's home, but also want Paul Whelan to become home. What are your thoughts on kind of how, I guess, divisive this has become?
Well, Twitter, I don't know if that's a good representation of America at large. Twitter is not known for really long-form discussions of geopolitical machinations or diplomacy. but I will say this. The asking price for Brittney Griner obviously went up with all the social media outrage and also the protests that we saw and also the press conferences and just the wider exploration of her situation here in America. I think that worked against the United States in terms of bargaining power. And also in regard to Whelan, he was someone who was convicted of espionage. And that's something that is going to be held in higher regard as far as Russia's concerned and their asking price. To make a sports analogy, if you're going to have a player trade, if you're going to ask for LeBron James, you're going to have to give even more. And in terms of prisoner swaps, I would say respectfully that Paul Whelan is someone who's going to require far more than what was asked for Brittney Griner.
Yeah, it's crazy to have to think about it, and you put it in I guess, basketball. You kind of maybe say pun intended with her being a WNBA star, but it's how we're looking at it, right? You didn't think you'd have to wake up and look, apples to apple when it comes to trade about human beings, but this is where we are. Relationships with America, right? We're negotiating with Russia, negotiating in the middle of the fact that we're helping fund a war against Russia. Where are we right now as far as Russian and United States relationships go?
Well, it's very complicated because it's not just our relationship with Russia. We have to think about our relationship with China because we can't offend China too much, or China would give extra help as they have been giving to Russia. And that's when we talk about the intricacies of this geopolitical situation. It's not just what we're doing with Brittney Griner. It's about what we're doing, which may further complicate or convolute what is happening in that portion of the world. And we can't necessarily get everything at once. Let's not forget, President Biden did bring home Trevor Reed, a former Marine who was also a prisoner in Russia. Not everything happens at once or at the same time. Just because Paul Whelan didn't come home today does not mean that he doesn't come home in 2-3 months.
Yeah, you saw, of course, folks are being reminded about that, to your point, Mo, that you've had a couple of administrations now trying to get Paul Whelan home. It's not as if folks aren't trying to bring him home. Wishing the best for him and, of course, his families during the holidays, as you mentioned. And I know folks are excited that Brittney Griner is home right around the holidays as well. Mo Kelly, thank you so much for joining us and giving us perspective on this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.